Greetings, YouTube, and welcome to episode 27 of the Encyclopedia Magica Volume 1. Kind of in a video making free flow state today. This is like number 7 I've made this afternoon. So we are still in the A's. In fact, how far does this book go? Do we ever get... Yeah, I think we actually get out of the A's. We get all the way up to the C's, I think, in this book. Wow, amazing. Alrighty, and we're going to go into all, A-W-L, and they are differentiating it as all and all pick. No, actually, we did all. Sorry, yeah, I remember the puns. I apologize. We're going to do axes. Axes are wood-cutting instruments which sharpen metal or stone heads and wooden handles. Axes are also used as weapons of war. War axes come in all sizes, from small hatchets and throwing axes to two-handed great axes. Many magically enchanted versions exist, particularly amongst the dwarves. After determining the magical properties of the axe, the character found, purchased, or traded for roll on the following table to determine the type of an axe found. So they've actually, kind of interesting, they have actually listed different types of axes. I wonder if they're going to do the same thing with swords. That would be cool. So the different options we have are axes, and this fascinates me. I'm a big fan of axes. Not only do I own a lot of axes, but I've built quite a few axes. Go check out my DeviantArt page. We have battle axe, caracal, which I actually don't know what it is. A bouge, I think it's B-H-U-J. It's Indian. I don't know how to say that. Probably Hindi, but I'm not positive. I know what those are. An eye axe, forearm axe, hand, hatchet, mace axe, pick. They put picks in with axes? Yeah, maybe. Pickaxe, shoka, which I don't know what that one is, throwing, tungi, which I also don't know, and the two-handed battle axe. Please remember that actual two-handed axes had a single blade. They weren't particularly large, and they were deadly. They were not the huge things you see in comic books and in fantasy art. These double-bladed axes that had blades this big, yeah, like real warhammers would have tiny little heads, but they're dangerous as all heck. So now we have Agni's Red, no XP and no GP from Legends and Lores. That means it's owned by a god. It's a red axe, must save versus paralyzation or burst into flames. Woohoo! That'd be bad. It's business. This does a D10 of extra damage. Flames can only be quenched through magical means. Ordinary water, even holy water, has no effect on them. Oh, that's not nice. It didn't say how long they last for. Maybe until you make your saving throw. So that's darn nasty. Ooh, they even have an illustration. I didn't know that. They actually have them labeled. Awesome. I am now I know what they look like. Now I know what the heck they are. I was correct. I knew what a number of them were. Oh, excellent. I think I've made a tungi. Didn't even know it. Well, I like that. Live and learn. Now we have the Amatsu Mara's Vorpal Axe. No value, of course, because it's from a god. The avatar carries a huge Vorpal Axe +5. Alignment any lawful that functions like a Vorpal sword. That would be fun to have. Then we have Arumdina from Monster Mythology. Garl Glittergold, the father of all the Gnomish race, wields an intelligent battle axe named Arumdina. This axe cleaves through stone as easily as air and slices through metal armor as if it didn't exist. Well, that's kind of darn cool. Then we have the Azure Edge, Slayer of the Netherborn. Now that's an awesome name. 7,000 XP, 35,000 GP, and it's from new item, so it must be endemic to new item in this book. I don't think, have we encountered a new item yet? This may be the first one. And this is an incredibly, unbelievably long story, which I'm not going to read the entirety of. Literally, it's column after column. We get down to the meat of it here is, enchanted as it was, the Azure Edge powers wax and wane with each new wielder. The blue axe's full powers and abilities are listed and activated as follow. This is the meat and potatoes. The blue axe does not have any combat bonuses for attack or damage, but its magic construction allows it to hit creatures only affected by silver or magical weapons, even those only affected by +3 weapons. I think there's something to be said to do away with requiring a plus something to get through someone's resistance. I think I kind of like the, was it P2 that did it, or 5th edition? They just said it's magic or it's not magic. Done. I like that. The simplicity, it works, and I think it's much more mythic. Its damage cannot be regenerated save by normal rest, making it an effective weapon against trolls. So yeah, you can't get it healed or regeneration. That's kind of cool. The second, immediately upon gaining the use of her, the wielder can command Azure Edge to generate light as the first level spell. Okay, lots of magic weapons have light ability. That's no big whoop on that one. After reaching 4th level or wielding her for a year, Azure Edge can be thrown at targets a number of times per day equal to the level of the fighter wielding her. So 6 times a day if you're 6th level. You gotta. Other than that, the lack of combat bonuses, this power is identical to the axe of hurling double damage when thrown. I like the fact that this weapon is leveling up. I really like weapons that level, magic items that level up. I think there's a lot to be said for that. There was a book made for that. Was it 3rd edition or 3.5 that completely bungled that whole concept, in my opinion. But I love the idea of leveling magic items. At 8th level and above, the wielder can use Azure Edge against undead and creatures from the lower planes as if it were a mace of disruption. Ooh. This power is coupled with the Azure Edge's ability to detect evil planar beings and undead. Wow, that's kind of cool. Alrighty. Then we have the last power. Azure Edge is an intelligent weapon, intelligence 14, ego 12, with a female identity, hence the reference to the weapon as she. I picked that up on my own, thanks. When with sentience, this is the one who, she is the one who chooses her wielder's magical sticking to surfaces like sovereign glue until she is touched by one she deems worthy. That's cool. She must have. She uses on her wielder, which aids her in her choice. She chooses a wielder only after the passing of her previous wielder. She can communicate by speech or telepathy, but she rarely communicates until the wielder is at least 12th level. Wow, you're kind of snobby. She can also resist identification magic at will, relinquishing only the information she wishes. That's a really powerful magic item. It's not quite artifact, but it's kissing the edge of it. I like that weapon. That's darn cool. You could build a lot of stuff around that weapon or a very similar weapon. You know, you file the serial numbers off and change it to your suit. Yeah, that's cool. Next we have the Brahaspati. Again, legend and lore. It's called from the god. It cannot be hit by any creature with a wisdom of less than 16. Okay, wow. If you're carrying this, you're immune to damage from any creature with less than a 16 wisdom. That covers a lot. That's pretty cool, though. Next, we have the Axe of Brotherhood, 2,000 XP, 10,000 GP, from Tales of the Lance. During the Dwarfgate Wars, that's a silly name, Karaman proposed a contest to bring some core. The Karaman raised a tall wooden post to sea of mud, placed the Axe of Brotherhood and the Sword of Friendship at the top. Whoever climbed the post could claim the prizes. It was a catch, though. Not only was the post greased, but Karaman had the contest rigged so that the dwarves and men had to work together to reach the prizes. The Axe of Brotherhood has a +2 bonus attack and damage rolls. So it's cool, but it's more of a symbol, you know, like just a rallying point kind of thing. That's kind of cool. Then we have Caladurin Smoothhand. Sorry. Caladurin Smoothhands. From Monster Mythology. The Avatar's Axe +3 kills Drow outright on an attack roll of 17 plus. No save. That's smooth hands. Wow. Next we have the Cursed Battle. Well, that's Hidden Shrine of Tomakan. Battle axe attacks asthmatic. The axe is +2, -2 versus chaotic evil creatures. The weapon acts like a cursed sword. Once handled by a character, he or she may never be rid of it, always teleporting into the user's hand and wields itself during encounters. You have to handle a wrap as a permanent scroll is concerned. The scroll contains the following spells. This is a spell. There's a spells built into this thing. Pass while her burning hands and push at 9th level. Remember push. The scroll provides the axe with an additional powers that wielder pronounce the correct words of power up to a maximum 3 times per day per spell. Push is probably now under the category, under the rubric of telekinesis. I think telekinesis has a push feature. The axe may not be used to attack any at the same time that it is being used to cast a spell. That makes sense. If you remove the scroll, the axe loses its ability to forever, and the scroll loses its permanence and becomes an ordinary scroll. That's pretty damn powerful. And it's got no XP, but it's got a GP of 1,000. It's still really useful. Yeah, it sucks against chaotic evil creatures, but against everything else, this is a pretty darn good axe. All right. How am I running right now? All right, I'm not down. Next, we have the Axe of Cutting. Wow, that's a real stretch. There's nothing for value on this one. It's the gods, demigods, and heroes. This axe +2 has the sword's sharpness ability. Okay. We have Death Striker. That's a good one. 3,000 XP, 15,000 GP from Dragon's Rest, which does not ping in my brain. This double-edged axe, damaged 1d10, can discharge a bolt of lightning, either forked or straight, like the wizard spell Lightning Bolt. It causes 66 points of damage. Saving throw is applicable. Yeah. The weapon has an initiative modifier of +2. Oh, that's kind of cool. Each use consumes 1 charge. The axe has 2d10 + 10 charges when found, and eventually, of course, you use up the charges, and it's just a magic axe. But it's still kind of cool. You might be able to get that replenished if you like a wand does. I would allow that. You get it replenished. I would make them have to take it all the way down though, so you have to use them all up before you can get. So you can't top it off. Yes, because I like that idea. But yeah, I'd let that. Then we have the Axe of the Dwarf Lords, because there's nothing on this, but no cost, because this is from the Book of Artifacts. Legends say that the Axe of the Dwarven Lords is the last of the 5 great tools forged by the first king after the Brutal Pick, the Earth's Heart Forge, the Anvil of Songs, and the Shaping Hammer. With these, Silvervein Moridson crafted the fierce axe, the finest of the 5. Silvervein passed the axe on to the second king, yada, 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 yada. The axe power lies in much of it is symbolized as it is magic. For over the creature's legends, the adventuring evolving the axe can have player characters finding this weapon. Yes, give me the abilities. The axe should not be resurfaced without cause. So yeah, okay, so it's like a questing thing. It only comes to the fore when there's a cause for it, or some particular thing returns and now you have to put it back down, that kind of thing. There's a lot of that in fantasy, isn't there? Constant powers. The axe +3 functions both as a sword of sharpness and as a hammer +3 dwarven thrower. That's kind of cool. It grants dwarven detection and vision abilities at double the normal chance or range. If it has invoked powers, the axe can summon 1 16-hit die earth elemental once per week. Doesn't give a duration on that. That's okay. You can summon it. How long does the summoning last? No duration there. All right. It has a curse, however. Non-dwarf characters permanently lose 1 point of charisma when they first touch the axe. There's a 20% chance that any magical item possessed or touched by the owner is permanently negated. Finally, the artifact transformation changes the owner into a dwarf, losing all abilities not allowed to that species. I guess if you always want to be a dwarf, you're into trans species kind of thing, there's your answer. If you don't have access to a polymorph any object. Suggested means of destruction. The axe must be melted down within the flames of the Earth Heart Forge. It must be freely given to the deities of the orcs, or Moradin, the dwarf deity, must be wounded by it. Well, that sounds bad. Now, okay, now we have another one, which is this is the axe of the dwarfish lords, whereas opposed to the last one was the axe of the dwarf lords. I think you're splitting hairs with these axes. This axe was found, after prolonged use, it tends to make the user resemble a dwarf. Yeah, well, that's a recurring theme. The user becomes shorter, stockier, and grows a profuse beard. It also has the following abilities. Proficient beard. Wow, what's your beard proficiency? Teleportation twice per day. User sustains double damage when attacked while using the relic. Wow. Each day that the owner of the relic wishes to make use of its powers, a human being must be sacrificed to it. The relic then functions normally for 24 hours. After that, another sacrifice may be made. It also user granted one wish per week. So that's dangerous. That could go to one's head. If you're an evil dwarf, that could, yeah, definitely. That's a good bad guy weapon right there. And we're going to call it quits there before we enter into the ease of axes. So apparently there's a lot of axes in here, which I heartily approve of. I love axes. Like I said, I've collected them and I've made them. So let me make sure I got that. 1 second. Yep. Okay. Making sure I have the right number on that one. So this has been episode 27 of the Encyclopedia Volume 1. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope that you will come back for the next one.